guess it was my first time seeing Hamilton, so I didn't know what to expect or like the audience's reaction. And I was so like glad to see, first of all, so many people of different ages, and also for one last time, also like.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, Carvin's is amazing. Carvin's is, we're so happy to have him here. He's amazing. I want to cheer after he finishes that song, and I can't. I have to act like Jefferson, but I'm gonna be like, ah.
And what was the rehearsal process or the hours of rehearsing for Lafayette/Jefferson?
The rehearsal process was interesting because this is my first time. This is my first time on tour. This is my first time joining a show that's already been running. All of my other experiences with theater were either at school or at regional shows, or I did an off-Broadway show where I was there from the beginning and I got to rehearse and build chemistry with the cast and kind of like get my choices set and just kind of like settled into my part. When I joined this show, it's running. So rehearsal for this show was me with the resident director and the resident choreographer and the dance captain in a room by myself with tape on the ground, with a room that's not even big enough for the stage, and no turntable, which is kind of the main, component of the set. And I'm learning the steps, and then the traffic, they say, okay, and these two people are going to go here and you're going to move in between them, but you have to watch out for this person coming across. So you have to move, but then wait and then go. And I was like, what? It was really stressful and really scary. And especially coming out of the pandemic, I was like not feeling good about my ability because I had been sitting on my couch for 2 years almost. So I didn't have any of the momentum from getting the job of like, usually when you book a job, it's a few months out and you build the excitement for it, and then you get to shoot out of a rocket to do it. I was doubting myself. I was very unsure of myself. And this was my dream job. So there was a lot of pressure that I was putting on myself to like nail it. So rehearsals were up and down and scary, but the team really helped me through, and they were very patient with me, and they were very understanding of my anxieties, and I got through it. And honestly, for like the first month of the show, Ashley, our resident director, kept saying this to me, but like she was like, this is your previews. Like I was still rehearsing after I was put into the show, because I was still like, doing it in the room by yourself is one thing, but doing it on stage with the whole cast full out like is another thing. And all of that was part of the rehearsal process, I would say. And I honestly, like to this day, I'm still trying to keep things fresh and to keep doing new things. And the Mulligan Madison track, especially Madison, is a track that him and I moved together very closely, and I'm very grateful for Tyler, who plays Madison. He's been in the show for a lot longer than I have, but he is still trying things and is always thinking about his performance and saying what's working, what's not working anymore, what can I adjust. And he keeps me honest, and he when days that I'm not feeling up to my best, if he shows up to work and he's feeling 100, then I always feel like I owe it to him to say, I don't care how I'm feeling, like I'm going to give everything I have because that's my partner. So I feel very lucky because some of the roles in the show can be very isolating. Hamilton does a lot in the show and he interacts with everyone in the show, but he doesn't have anyone to really lean on. He has to do the whole show kind of by himself almost in a sense. Right. But I'm so glad I have Tyler to like kind of get me through the show. That's
awesome. I can't imagine learning like without a turntable because you're also in Helpless and Satisfied.
Yeah. And like you get on at one point and you get off at another point, and they're like, I mean, you're just gonna have to figure it out. I'm like, oh, okay.
Try not to die.
Right. No, the first time I stepped on the turntable, I was like, whoa. And I was kind of scared, like, because I get like motion sickness sometimes, like I'm kind of sensitive. Yeah. And I was like, if I get sick doing the show, I'm gonna be pissed. Like if I can't do the show, but it ended up being fine. I was just being dramatic.
That's good. What do you think about fans who cosplay for the shows? Because I've seen a couple of Jeffersons, which is awesome.
I love it. So in my time in the show, I've only met two people who came in costume. It was this little girl in Houston and this boy in Orlando, and their costumes were amazing. And I have pictures with both of them. I'm gonna keep them forever. But
That's great.
it's an honor. Like anytime someone like does an artwork or like, and I'm not saying you have to do any of that to be like a fan that I love, you know. And especially because we've been touring after in like a post-COVID era, like I haven't gotten to meet a lot of people or like have face-to-face time with people that are like really excited about the show. So that's kind of been a bummer, but anytime I see someone, whether it's a Jefferson costume or any other costume, it makes me really happy because I know what it's like to be a fan of something and to like really care about it and like be invested in it. And to be a part of something that means that for someone else is a really moving and humbling feeling. And I love it.
This is a switching gears to more of like a character question. What is something you would like to say or ask either of your characters if you met them in real life? So it could be Lafayette or Jefferson.
That's a really interesting question. Oh, I mean, okay, like if we're talking about real life Jefferson, I don't know if I would really care to talk to him that much at all.
Right.
But for Lafayette, which is a much more exciting one for me, I would be I would just want to know like what made him fight so hard for this country that wasn't his. Because you know, he talks about like he's gonna go back to France and do what he did in France in America. And I'm like, you like what drove you to like put your life on the line for that long? I think that's like obviously that's not the era that I'm growing up in. Like I'm fortunate that I don't have to fight in the war. Like I don't think I could do that. That's not who I am. But I respect and admire that. I think there is just something kind of noble about that.
I guess so. We would like praise Lafayette's selflessness and roast Jefferson. Like if we saw him.
Roast him like a carrot. Just what is you doing, bro?
There's like a lot of Easter eggs in Hamilton, like within the music, and also the white coat represents Symbol's death. And then I noticed, like, I heard the General song, the one that "Here Comes the General," the first George Washington song, and I was like, this sounds familiar. And then I realized that it sounded like a JC song that I had heard before, like the beat. So do you have a favorite Easter egg in Hamilton?
Oh, that's a good one. Well, favorite? I don't know if I have a favorite because I think the Easter eggs just as a whole is one of my favorite parts of the show. Like when I first watched the show, I caught a bunch of them, and then there were also a bunch that I didn't catch. But if you're asking for a favorite, I think I would have to go with one that I say, and if you don't know, now you know, Mr. President. And obviously that's a very iconic line from Notorious B.I.G. But I remember when I first saw the show, and there had been so many references before that, but when I heard that one, like that's not one that everyone in the audience got, but I got it, and I know that other people got it because they were like, you know, and really going for it, like really trying to pay homage to hip hop culture. So that's my favorite one.
Do you have a dream role or project that you would like to do?
I mean, this was it for so long. I think right now I'm at a stage where I really want to be able to create new characters and be a part of new shows where I can bring my entire authentic self into determining how people will perceive this part. You know, because like, for example, I'm playing a lot of Jeff right now, and I'm making it as much my own as possible. But I will always think of David when I think of this part. David will always be Left Jeff to me, and I will always be someone who is doing my best to not do an impression of him, but to pay respects to the work and legacy and foundation that he laid for that part, and doing my version on top of it. So I think for me, like, I want to do new stuff, but there's always a show that I've wanted to do since I started doing musical theater, and the show is called Once. Do you know that musical?
I've heard of it, but I'm not familiar with like the themes of it.
Yeah, so it's based on a movie. And the movie had all the same songs in it, but Once is my dream show, and I would like to do it someday.
And kind of wrapping it up, what is your advice for students who are pursuing a career in performing arts?
The advice question. My advice would be to try as many things as possible. And what I mean by that is, you don't have to, like, if you're young and you want to be a performer, whether it's in TV or film or theater or dance or all of them, because nowadays everyone does everything, like really does everything. Don't just take acting classes, don't just take singing classes, don't just take dance classes. Like, take a musical instrument lesson, like pick up hobbies, you know, go to the park, like live your life. That's my advice. You know, don't worry so much about like, I'm going to be a performer, because if you are, then you'll end up doing that anyway. You'll go to school for it or whatever, like you'll go to auditions, and eventually, like, if you have the talent and you have the commitment and the passion, eventually I believe that it'll work out for you. But I think for me, what I see with a lot of young people, it's like, I have to do this and only this. And for me, what makes a great artist and a great actor and a performer or whatever, like I said, you have to bring a lot of truth to your performance, right? And the only way you can bring truth is if you've lived a lot of life and you've experienced a lot of things. So I think my advice would just be to like live your life and like find as much joy in your life as possible, because life is going to make sure that it finds all the other emotions too. You're going to find a lot of sad, you're going to find a lot of hurt, you're going to find a lot of dark times. But if you're always seeking joy, then you'll find it, and then you'll have a really well-rounded palette of emotions in your heart and your mind and your spirit, and you'll be able to bring that. And no one wants to see a fake person on stage. You want to see real people on stage. So my advice would be to just live your life, be happy as best as you can.